Oh. Oh, right. Why do I have to do that?
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, just 2 seconds. It's the technical stuff which I absolutely adore. Ooh. But why is it asking me to do that? Okay. Ciao, Antonio. So it seems this is going to be weird. Marina. Ah. No.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting it. I'm just watching myself live on YouTube, which I don't really want to see, so I'm just going to close that. Okay. A couple of people coming in. Hi, Rosella.
Hi.
Everything okay in Malta?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yes. All okay.
Who else have we got here? Okay. Gloria, where I don't remember whereabouts you're based.
Where about what, sorry?
Where you are based.
Where am I based? In Verona?
Ah, you are in Verona, okay.
Yeah. Lower secondary school.
Okay. Whereabouts in Verona?
In the city center, I'm actually teaching in Cagliari school, which is right in the city center.
Okay. Because I know that Sal is down in Calabria, yeah?
Yes.
Marina is in Milan. We've got Rosella in Malta. Anna, I don't remember where you're from or where you're based. Anna.
She's not there.
Oh, she's already fallen asleep. Or she's gone to get herself a coffee or something. Or maybe she's trying desperately to switch the microphone on and she can't quite manage. Hi, Marina. Are you on a train today?
No.
You're not on a train.
I'm at home.
Ah, okay. Because you're usually traveling.
Yes.
Okay. What about Antonio? Are you? Hi. Are you at home? Or
yes.
Are you traveling around? Okay.
I'm at home.
Okay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to make a start. There's Stefano. Hi, Stefano. I managed it. Ce l'ho fatto oggi.
Great. Lovely.
But I do not like Zoom. Anyway,
half of the world using it.
Yeah, but the other half isn't. The other half is using something easier. So anyway, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I tried all of them, and this. Okay, but
it might be just because I don't use it a lot.
Sorry, Gordon. Sorry, but I had to answer to my mobile phone.
Ah, no, it's okay. It's not a
sorry.
problem. Okay. No, it's no problem.
Have a nice lesson then.
No problem.
Is perfect. Bye.
Okay. What, Stefano? Do you want me to start the registration?
Yeah. No, it's already on.
Ah, it's already on. Okay. Because it goes through YouTube. Okay, fine.
Have a nice lesson.
Okay, thank you. Right. So this is where I have to condividere lo schermo. So just it's going to be this one. Okay. Right. Can you see my screen? So
yeah.
Yes.
This is my Okay, so there we go. So it's live. Okay, so I don't want to repeat stuff that we did last time, but I just wanted to pick up the thread, which we were talking about cells, if I remember correctly. So we were looking at different types of cells, and we were looking at organelles. So for those of you who weren't here, now some of you were, but some of you weren't. For those of you who weren't here, I'll just go through this very quickly. The cells, the name comes from Robert Hooke, who, when he was looking at cork, sugaro, under his microscope, he decided that the cork looked like the places where monks live in a monastery, so he called them cells. It's from the Latin. So cells are the, let's say, the biological equivalent of atoms, in the sense that they're biological things are made up from cells, and of course, there are lots of different types of cells, and microbiologists study these and histologists study these in great detail. Basically, if we think about what a cell is, a cell is a sac which contains all of the stuff that it needs in order to do its job. Living organisms can be simple, unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular include the bacteria, the protozoa, and the algae and the fungi, while multicellular can it's basically the rest of the stuff. So including ourselves. So we have basically two main types of, let's say, divisions of cell. You have the eukaryotes and the prokaryotes. The prokaryotes are the bacteria. The eukaryotes are the animal and plant cells, which contain particular, let's say, particular organelles, and they are different according to whether you're looking at eukaryotes or prokaryotes. These slides refer to eukaryotic cells and animal cells, and then plant cells in particular. Okay, so without sort of going back through the whole slides, because I know, because we've already done this with some people, I just wanted to ask, if we look at this sort of very generic animal cell, can anyone tell me what some of the different pieces are? And so what I'd like you to try and do is I'd like you to try and describe the thing, if you can. Okay, so for example, can someone tell me what this is supposed to be? This thing here.
A mitochondrion.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Antonio. So this is a mitochondrion.
Okay.
Mitochondrion. What do the mitochondria do? Do you remember, or do you know?
Mitochondria are used to produce energy.
Yeah. Okay. So this is very much about energy metabolism in the cell. Okay. What about now? Again, this is a diagram, but what about this pink thing here? This big thing here. This circle. Any takers here?
Membrane.
Sal, any ideas?
The membrane.
Okay, there'd be a membrane around it.
Yeah.
But the thing itself, what's this pink stuff?
Cytoplasm, no?
Nucleolus.
No,
this is okay. Yeah, okay. This is the nucleus. Yeah. So I have to. I'm sort of trying to make it so that people who did this last week don't sort of can use it as a bit of a memory jogger. Yeah. Okay. So this stuff is all the nucleus. This yellow is the cytoplasm. Okay. What's in the nucleus? Do you remember what's in the nucleus? We've got different stuff in the nucleus. Anybody? And as I say, this isn't a test. It's just maybe you know, maybe you. What's in the nucleus?
There is genetic materials. In particular, there is DNA.
Yeah. Okay. So it's DNA. Sorry, Anto. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. The sound was the audio was a little bit difficult there. Yeah. You've got DNA, and you've got what are called histones. What are histones?
Histones are how to explain. DNA is a long chain of amino acids.
Nucleic acids.
Okay.
Nucleic acids. Okay.
And they are packed. They are packed. How to explain?
Okay. I'll give you a word here. I'll give you a word. You're right. You've said packed, which is good.
Yeah, packed.
Okay. But you can also say wrapped around.
Okay.
Okay. Wrapped around. It's when you've got something which is sort of. Actually, let me. Wires. This might actually come in useful. It's been bothering me all day, but you can wrap the wire around your finger, for example. Okay. So what happens with the DNA, which is nucleic acids? Okay. And as Antonio says, it's a long molecule. It wraps around the histones. Okay. Why does it do that? Why does it do that? Why would that be potentially? Why would that be useful?
To save space.
Yeah. Essentially, it is. It's to save space. Good, thank you. Yeah, to save space, because the molecule itself. I mean, this molecule is so long that it wouldn't. It would be all over the cell. It would just be a mess. So what it does is it sort of it wraps around these very, very special proteins, very particular proteins called histones, which apparently they look sort of like little cylinder type things. And the DNA, it's very, very intricately packed. So it's essentially a way of the cell saving space. Okay, so if we just sort of come back to our diagram. So we've got this genetic material, and we've got the nucleus. This pink stuff is what's called chromatin, which is basically threads of DNA and protein mixed together. But sometimes in the nucleus, you can also see what's called the nucleolus. So you've got a nucleus, and then you've got this the nucleolus. Now, I don't know whether you remember what the nucleolus does. It has a very specific job, and it's connected with
it is connected with the ribosomes.
Yeah, the ribosomes. Yeah. Okay, the ribosomes. Okay. What it does is it basically makes ribosomes. It's involved in making ribosomes. Okay. Okay. So where are the ribosomes?
Ribosomes are in the Golgi apparatus. They are produced in the nucleolus and go out of the nucleus and come in the Golgi apparatus.
Okay. Right. So it's not quite the Golgi apparatus. It's the other one. It's the one with the big long name.
Just a moment.
Anybody?
Endoplasmatic.
Reticulum.
I don't know the second word, if it's reticulate or in Italian reticolo.
Yeah, okay, reticulum. Okay, okay. So yeah, so you've got the endoplasmic reticulum. Just a general comment. In Italian, you've got reticolo. Okay, where you have that reticolo, the lo ending, you can guess that in English it will be a okay, because we've kept the Latin. Yeah, yeah. So these, and in particular, it's the what's called the rough. The rough endoplasmic reticulum, which on this this diagram, it's sort of here. It's these little things are supposed to be the ribosomes sitting on the endoplasmic reticulum. But of course, you also have the smooth ER. Okay, so it's easier to write. Which is associated with typically with things like lipid synthesis. Okay, so lipids. What type? Do you know another name for lipids? A more common name?
Fat. Yeah,
fats. Okay,
fat.
So this is fat or fatty acids, in particular fatty acid synthesis. Okay, so this is what's happening in your smooth ER. And then you do have, as Antonio said, you have the Golgi apparatus, and this is apparatus. Okay, and this stuff is it can be more or less present. It's usually present, but some cells have a lot of it. Some cells don't have quite so much. Cells that have a lot of it are cells which are involved in secreting things. Okay, and so it's similar to the endoplasmic reticulum, but it's involved in export and import. Okay, so if you like, this is the dogana, okay, of the situation. Yeah. So okay, this is just a little bit of a, let's say, a revision of the various pieces. We also have some other bits and pieces in the cell. We have microtubules, which are structures which are used for moving things around the cell. We have things like the lysosomes. There are two things involved in waste disposal. We've got lysosomes and so a little bit lysosomes, and we also have peroxisomes, which lysosomes, they contain enzymes. What do enzymes do? What do enzymes do? What are enzymes usually involved in?
Hidrolitica.
Okay, so that you could, well, you can have all sorts of, okay, so hydrolytic, so that implies lytic, lysis. So you've got breaking down. So you've got breaking things down. Okay. You have hydrolytic enzymes of one type. You've got things like proteases, lipases, all sorts of types of enzymes. So they can break things. What else can enzymes do? First of all, what are enzymes?
In general, not only in lysosomes.
In general.
So, they increase the speed of chemical reactions.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So reactions to build new molecules or
okay.
reactions that break some chemical bonds.
Yeah, okay. So you got building and breaking. So let me just pull that up. Okay. Yeah, okay. So the increase. Do you know another word for a more general word for something which increases speed of a chemical reaction?
Yes, I hope, I guess the exact word in English, it's the phenomenon is catalysis.
Yeah, okay.
So catalyzers, maybe.
Catalyst.
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 Yes. Italian
Okay.
catalizzatori.
Yeah, exactly. Catalysatori. Okay, so this is a very interesting word, I think, because now I don't want to go too deeply into this stuff, because I get really excited about enzymes and things. But the word is curious because it's made of two parts. Kata and list, which this comes from lysis, meaning to split. This is Greek, okay? But kata, this means hidden, as in catacombs, for example, okay? And it's a curious word because it reflects the fact that catalysts do chemical reactions, but they don't appear in the equations, because one of the characteristics of a catalyst is that it is not actually changed by the chemical reaction that it does. Okay, so when people were first working out what these things were doing, it was a bit confusing, because it was clear that they were doing something, but they didn't appear in the stoichiometry, and so they are hidden. So that's where we get the word catalyst. Okay, yeah. So what they're doing is they're increasing the speed of chemical reactions, and in lysosomes, they are basically breaking down stuff. Okay, so breaking things down. So they are breaking down molecules, waste molecules from the metabolic processes in the cell. They're breaking down things which may be taken in from outside. So this is the lysosomes are very important. The peroxisomes are also important. They do oxidation, so they do a lot of reactions using oxygen and hydrogen peroxide. And hydrogen peroxide is very toxic to cells. So it's very important that the peroxisomes keep the peroxide in. Okay, so, and again, these are involved in breaking things down and getting rid of waste products in the cells. Okay, good. So this is a sort of like a very generic animal cell. I'm going to go down through this. This might be a little bit slow because I'm using a slow computer today. Okay. Okay, so let's just go on to the plants and then we'll come back. Okay, so yeah, so you've got generic cell. That was a generic cell, but then of course you have different types of cells. So we have everything from myocytes, which are muscle cells, epidermal cells, red blood cells, fat cells, adipocytes, osteocytes, which are bone cells. They all do different jobs in the body, specialized cells. Okay. The plant cells, on the other hand, are a little bit different to the animal cells. We've got, first of all, we've got a wall, a cell wall, whereas in the animal cell you have, oops, let me just move this here. You've got the membrane. Okay, but it's quite fluid. The plant cell, on the other hand, you have a cell wall and a membrane. Okay, and of course it's the cell wall is the thing which gives the plant its structure. So the fact that the plant is rigid, trees, bushes, daffodils, tulips, whatever. Okay, this is what this is because of the cell wall. Okay, now the cell wall is permeable, so things can pass in and pass out. Okay, this is very important. But in general, the rest of what's in the cell is pretty similar. Okay. One big difference, though, is this green stuff. These are the chloroplasts. And the chloroplasts, obviously, are involved in photosynthesis, which is completely different. Animals don't do this, obviously, because animals are heterotrophs, whereas plants are autotrophs. They make their own food. Okay. Algae, some algae contain chloroplasts as well. So this is where photosynthesis is occurring, and this is where we find chlorophyll. Okay, so this is one of the big, let's say, one of the big differences between the animal cells and the plant cells. These guys have no chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are what's a type of plastid, which is a primitive, let's say, a primitive structure which is found in plant cells. You have chloroplasts, but you also have things like amyloplasts. I think we mentioned potatoes. I think we looked at the bananas last week. These are storage. This is for storage. Okay. So the thing here is that in a way, the plastids are very similar to the mitochondria. There are also mitochondria in the plant cells. The plastids are very similar in that they have their own DNA, okay, which is something which, according to the plant, according to the type of plant, they will get the DNA from the mother or from the male or the female, or at random. Okay, so this is a brief, let's say, a brief summary of plant cells. Okay, so we have the usual stuff, and that's the end of the stuff on cells. Anybody got any questions about this? Because this is a very, very brief summary of stuff that we did last week. But do you have any questions? Yes, no? Any comments? Maybe. No. Yes, no? Shall I go on? You guys are being quiet. Okay. Right. So I'm going to change. I'm going to change completely the topic, which we, as I say, last time we were looking at cells, and we've just revised it a little bit. Today we're going to look at planets. Completely different thing. Why not? So I think the first thing I have to ask is, okay, so these are little diagrams. Which planets do we know? So, Gloria.
Thanks for asking me first.
Yeah, I just saw you smiling, so I thought, okay, I'll ask Gloria.
The only one I can recognize is Earth.
Okay, well, okay, Earth is good.
Top, center, top in the middle.
Yeah, okay. So Earth is good. Now, of course, these are drawings, or let's say images, like they're sort of very stylized. Does anybody recognize any of the other planets?
Jupiter.
Which one is Jupiter?
Top left.
Okay, so we've got Jupiter. Now, that's okay.
And of course Saturn on top bottom.
Which one? It's on the bottom left, right?
On the bottom, on the left.
Okay, so we've got Saturn.
The famous rings.
The famous rings. Okay. What about the one in the middle? The red planet.
The red Mars.
Yeah, this is Mars. Okay. Now, okay, this is where
the other ones are more difficult.
Yeah, this is where it gets a bit more difficult. Okay.
Because I know that it's Mercury. It should have not an atmosphere.
Okay.
Shouldn't have an atmosphere, so could be on the left.
This one.
On the middle.
This one. Yeah. Okay. But, yeah, you're right. You're right. This is no.
But
this is
I don't know if that is that a picture, a drawing, or a photo of the sun. I don't know.
Livio, do you want me to tell you how I did that? It's actually a photograph of the surface. No, it's the photograph of foam on top of some beer, una birra. Okay. And basically it's been modified a little bit to look like craters. Okay. But when you see the real photographs of Mercury, it actually looks a bit like that. It's because it's just basically like the moon, but it's just covered in little craters. Okay. But the photograph is actually beer. It's actually una birra media. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've got these guys. What about the other planets? What's left?
Venus.
Okay, so I'll just write them here. So we've got Venus. What else?
Neptune.
Pluto up.
And Uranus.
Uranus. Okay.
Uranus.
Okay, right. So, and then we've got one more.
Pluto.
Pluto. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
It's a planet. It isn't a planet.
Well, for me,
Maybe-
it's a planet. I don't care what the International Astronomical Union says. I was brought up with Pluto being the 9th planet, so it's a planet. Anyway, apart from that, which is which? Do you think? What do you know about? What does anybody know about Neptune and Uranus?
They are cold.
Definitely.
They are quite big.
Okay. Far away.
Yeah.
a long way away. Okay. Okay, I tell you what, I'm just thinking about this, because unless you sort of follow this stuff, maybe I think an astronomer would say, oh yeah, okay, I recognize these things instantly. But if you don't follow it, I can understand that this is a bit more difficult. So what we do have is we've got Venus. Oops. Up here. Okay, now Venus is, as I say, this is a stylized drawing, but Venus is covered in cloud. Okay, it's a cloud-covered world, which is just a little bit smaller than Earth. Okay, this is Uranus, and this is the odd one in this. This is an odd one in the solar system because its axis of rotation is almost at 90 degrees to the others. So in this case, the pole actually points towards us. So this is Uranus. This blue one is Neptune. And Neptune is very similar to Jupiter in some ways. It sometimes has a big semi-permanent hurricane or storm on it, which sort of spends years and years and years going around the planet. And then the one in the bottom right is Pluto. Now, I don't know whether you remember, a couple of years ago, the New Horizons space probe was the first space probe to ever send photographs back from Pluto. And people were very, very surprised at what was found, because up until that point, really, virtually nothing was known about it. A little bit about its size, how big it was, but nothing much else, because it's so small and so far away. It is just virtually impossible to get any more information on. Okay, so this is the let's say the general scheme. So if we think about from the language point of view, planets, it's a great exercise because it's all to do with comparatives. Basically, you can spend hours just making different comparisons between the planets. So you would say that Uranus is large. It's larger than Earth. It's not as large as Neptune. Jupiter is the largest. Neptune is larger than Uranus, but not as large as Jupiter. So you can play around with these things for just about forever. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. It is closer to the sun than either Jupiter or Saturn. Saturn is close. Jupiter is closer. Okay, so you can, as I say, you can play with comparatives a lot here. Venus, Mars, and Mercury. Mars is smaller than Venus. Venus is small compared to Jupiter. Mercury is the smallest. So I'm just going to think about ways of describing planets. So this is some adjectives. It's not exhaustive, of course. You can probably think of others. Can you think about how to apply maybe some of these words to some of the planets that you know about? That maybe something that you know about. Rosella, could you think of something?
About the planets?
Yeah, could you think of something to say about some of the planets?
Do you need like I have to do an example?
Yeah, if you can, if you want to.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Mars is hotter than Pluto.
Yeah, it's relative, isn't it? Okay. What about the rocky planets? Sal, do you know which of the rocky planets or which ones you associate with being rocky?
Rocky planet maybe could be Mars.
Yeah, okay, so we've got Mars. Oops, here we go.
Rocky planet.
Rocky planets, rocciosa, okay. Mars,
yeah.
Any others?
Earth.
Maybe,
I don't know, Saturn, maybe, I don't know, Earth. But, no.
Okay, so Saturn, what would you say? Anybody?
Saturn is a gassy planet.
Yeah, okay, so Saturn is a gassy or gaseous planet, okay?
Uh-huh.
Say gas. Okay, so we've got Mars, Earth, rocky ones.
Mercury.
Yeah, definitely. Mercury is a rock.
Mercury and also Venus.
Yeah, Venus is also it's a rock which is shrouded in cloud. Okay. Which other? Okay, so what about other gassy planets or gaseous planets?
Jupiter.
Jupiter, definitely. And
Neptune.
And Neptune. What about this guy, Uranus?
Uran.
Uranus, yes.
Uranus.
Yeah, this always makes English people laugh, so you have to be a little bit careful, with it. Okay, yeah. So these guys, they are classed as gassy planets, but they have a rocky core, so they're sort of in between in a way. They're very big, but they're somewhere sort of in between. What about this guy? What about Pluto?
Rocky.
Definitely.
Because it's cold.
Yeah, it's a very Jupiter's quite cold, but it's a gas giant. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What about these words here? Barren, lifeless, airless. Now, lifeless, I think you would apply to all of them. But barren and airless, what do they associate? What do you associate with?
Desolated with barren.
Yeah, desolation.
Desolation.
Yeah, desolate. So which planets do they make you think of, maybe?
I think that all except the Earth, but the gaseous, I don't know.
Okay,
The
okay,
rock-
no, that's good, because if we here, if we're talking about no life, okay, then of course, yes, they're all barren. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Airless, something without air.
Airless.
So this implies no atmosphere,
Yes.
or a very thin. Okay, very thin atmosphere. I've just noted. Yeah, okay, I've got this at the bottom here. Thick and thin. Very thin atmosphere. Which of these would you associate with a thin atmosphere? Maybe.
A thin atmosphere in Venus, maybe.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite.
No, the opposite.
Yeah. Okay. But Venus has a very thick atmosphere.
Thick atmosphere.
Thick is
Okay.
dense. Okay.
Dense,
Yeah. Okay. That's a word I didn't put on here. This is not dense, and the opposite is thick, which is dense. Okay. So Mercury has a thick atmosphere. What about, sorry, Venus has a thick atmosphere. What about Mercury?
Mercury is barren.
Yeah,
and,
good.
And also because of his distance from the sun, and he is also airless.
Yes. Okay. So it's barren. It's airless. So there's no atmosphere, or if it has an atmosphere, it's very, very thin, very tenuous. Okay. Very thin is, you can say it's tenuous. Tenuous. There you go. Tenuous. There you go.
Tenuous.
Tenuous. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What about Mars? What about Mars?
It's barren, lifeless, and airless.
Okay. So we've got barren, lifeless, airless. What about its atmosphere? Would you say it's thick? Would you say it's thin? Do you think?
No atmosphere.
No, it does have an atmosphere. It's just it's quite thin. It's a lot thinner than Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so it's a lot less dense. Okay. Okay, I mean, this is, as I say, this is just to try and get you to think about these words. Which?
Sorry, Gordon.
Anna, dimmi.
Yeah, just a question. I don't understand if the planet is a thin atmosphere, is a planet with atmosphere or without atmosphere?
It's with an atmosphere, but there's not a lot of it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah?
Okay. Thanks.
Because no, it's good. It's a good question, Anna. Because the thing is, what we tend to use is these adjectives thin and thick to describe how dense. Really, as scientists, we should be talking about the density of the atmosphere. Okay. So you would say that the Martian atmosphere is a lot less dense than Earth's atmosphere. The Venusian atmosphere is a lot more dense than Earth's atmosphere. Okay.
But excuse me, when we talk about atmosphere, we say that there is oxygen or air or not?
No, an atmosphere in this sense. No, it's good question, Sal. An atmosphere in astronomical terms is the gas around a planet.
A planet, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, we think about, okay, atmosphere, we think about oxygen and nitrogen, what have you, but that's Earth. Venus has an atmosphere, which is mostly CO2. There's no oxygen. Okay. Jupiter has an atmosphere, which is mostly hydrogen. Okay. So it's the very, very generic, very general term for the gas around a planet. Okay, that's what's happening here. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. Okay. So I'll tell you what. Let me just move to the next slide if I can. Right. Okay. So, and this is this is a little bit of a general knowledge test. Okay. So coming back to, it's, as I say, it's all adjectives. Coming back to adjectives. Which planet is closest to the sun?
Mercury.
Yes, Mercury. So we can put Mercury near the sun. Okay. Which planet is furthest away from the sun?
Venus.
Nope.
No.
Furthest away. Furthest away. Farthest from the sun. Pluto. So Pluto, I'm going to put Pluto here, just at the edge of the slide, okay? Okay, so this is where it gets a bit more difficult. After Mercury, what comes next? What is next to Mercury? Rosella?
It's not Venus.
It is Venus.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got Mercury, Venus. Excuse me. What comes next? Now, Antonio, I don't want you to say anything else, okay? Because I know that you study this stuff. So,
Yes.
Aquimboca. Okay, Anna, what's next?
Earth.
Yes, good.
Oh.
you sound surprised.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So this is where it might get a little bit more difficult. What about Sal? Can you tell me what comes next, do you think?
Next the Earth.
Yeah, next to the Earth. What's next to the Earth?
Famous Mars.
Yeah, of course, it's Mars. And if anyone, well, not tonight because it's a bit foggy here, certainly in Verona. I don't know where you guys are, but you can actually see Mars at the moment in the sky around about 10 o'clock. It's sort of fairly high. Okay. If you look towards the sunset, just after sunset, just a little bit higher than the sun, you can actually see Jupiter and Saturn are gradually going down. Okay, what comes after Mars? What comes after Mars? Livio, are you there? Maybe he's gone. Oh, maybe he's gone. I think maybe Livio has disappeared. He has. Okay. Anybody, but not Antonio.
The biggest. The biggest.
Yeah, it's the biggest, which is?
Jupiter.
Jupiter. Yeah, there it goes. I'll just put this in front. Okay, so we've got Jupiter. Okay, right. Now, this is where it does get a little bit hairy. It gets a bit more complicated. What comes next? What is after Jupiter? Going away
Uranus, Saturn.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I try.
Saturn.
Okay.
The
Okay.
one with the rings.
But which one with the rings? Ha.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the key discoveries in the 1980s, 1990s, that other planets have rings too. Saturn has the biggest set of rings, but Uranus, Neptune, and even Jupiter have rings. It's just that they're not as visible.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's just that the let's say they weren't easy to observe. I can't remember. I think it was in the 1980s that there was a Uranus passed in front of a star. It's what's called an occultation, and the starlight was seen to dim on one side, and then again on the other side of the planet, and this was taken as indirect evidence of the presence of rings. Then someone actually managed to photograph them. Okay, so what comes next? Ha. I'm surprised.
Neptune.
I'm surprised you're not looking on Google. Okay. Uranus. Yeah, it's Uranus. Okay. And I'll just put this on top. Okay. And of course, that leaves one, which is Neptune. So here we have them in order. I should distribute these properly, but okay. So there you go. So this is in terms of distance. What about size? Which are the biggest? Which are the smallest?
Jupiter, the biggest.
Yeah, Jupiter is enormous. Okay. Next one. So Jupiter is by far the biggest.
Neptune. No.
Antonio?
After Jupiter.
After Jupiter, which is the next biggest?
Is Neptune.
No, it's not Neptune. Antonio?
I'm not sure. I think it's Saturn.
It is. It's Saturn. These are the two big guys. This is the biggest. It's the second biggest. Then we've got Uranus. Then we've got Neptune, which is surprisingly, it's about 4 times the size of Earth. So it's big, but it's not huge. Pluto is the smallest. Mercury is the next smallest. Venus is slightly smaller than Earth.
Yes.
Mars is quite a bit smaller than Venus. Okay, so but these three are sort of very, very similar to each other in many respects. Rocky planets with atmosphere, but of course the atmosphere that we know is just right. So you may hear people talking about the Goldilocks principle. I don't know, Riccioli d'oro. Okay, so it's the idea of the Goldilocks principle. If you remember the story, you have the 3 bears, and Goldilocks they go out of the house, and Goldilocks goes into the house and starts eating the porridge for breakfast. But of course, one is too hot, one is too cold, but one is just right. Okay, and that's the Goldilocks principle in a way. Earth is just the right distance from the sun for everything to work properly, so that we're actually able to have Zoom teleconferences. I don't think this happens in any other part of the solar system. So, okay, right. Okay, yeah. So if we're going to talk about planets, okay, so we can describe the planets themselves: big, small, thick atmosphere, thin atmosphere. Oh yes. What about gravity? I didn't ask about gravity. Now this can confuse people a little bit, but gravity. First of all, what is it? What is gravity?
Attraction.
Yeah, it's a force of attraction, isn't it? Okay, so it's a force of attraction between two bodies. Okay, so do all the planets have the same gravity?
No.
No. Oh, hello, Ivo.
Hello.
Okay, so we're talking about planets today.
Yes.
Okay, so they don't. So this obviously depends on the mass.
My friend Isaac Newton.
Your friend Isaac Newton. Okay, I can tell you a little rhyme about Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton told us why an apple falls down from the sky, and from this fact it's very plain all other objects do the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this is to do with mass, isn't it? So if this is a big mass and this is a little mass, the force of attraction, they're both attracting each other, but it's the big mass which is attracting the little mass more. Okay, so which of these planets has the highest gravity?
Jupiter.
Yeah, it's Jupiter, isn't it? What about the smallest gravitational field?
Mercury.
Yeah, it's going to be Mercury or Pluto. I just need to, I think Pluto is slightly less massive than Mercury, so I think it's Pluto, but we're going to check. I've got a table with the data in it. So yeah, so this gravity will depend on the on the mass of the planet, and of course we know that sometimes this attractive force has been used when NASA and other space agencies have sent space probes out into the solar system, where they use the gravitational field of the planets to alter the trajectories of the probe. Okay, right. Yeah, so if we're going to talk about planets, we need to be able to talk about planets going around the sun. So here we're talking about orbits, okay, revolutions, okay. Now orbit, it can be a noun or it can be a verb. You can orbit something. Okay, so Mercury orbits the sun. The moon orbits the Earth. Okay, you can talk about the orbit is a path, it's a trajectory. Okay, so it's a path, trajectory. Okay, other words which are associated with this type of thing are things like rotation. So we talk about, there's an example here, the planet is rotating on its axis. Okay, now I mentioned that Uranus is a little bit strange because most of the planets have this situation where the axis of rotation is more or less perpendicular to the plane of the orbit. Uranus has this rather strange situation where the axis of rotation is almost in the plane. So it looks, when we look at it, we often see the pole, okay, according to where the planet is in the sky. Orbits, sorry, can I just, someone has got, there's conversation going on in the background. Can we, hello? Not sure who's talking in the background. Can you just switch your mics off? Just, please. Right, who was that? Who was that? Look for the guilty one. Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. So orbits elliptical. They are elliptical. This is Kepler's laws. With the sun at one of the focal points. And we talk about orbital period, which is how long the planet takes to go around the sun. And this would be the equivalent of a year. Okay, so the Earth's year is 365.25 days. Jupiter's year is, I don't remember, but it's a lot longer. It's 7,000 days or something. Okay, so this is these are other little bits of vocabulary that we might need for talking about planets. Okay, I'm not going to go through these because this is just basically a pile of collected data. I'm going to have a look at this now. This looks a bit fearsome. But it's not. It's just basically a table comparing the different planets. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to give you an opportunity to try and ask some questions about this to other people in the group. So thinking about comparatives, okay, you can think about, well, we've got mass, we've got the heaviest, we've got diameter, we've got the biggest, the densest, the highest gravity, the longest day, the farthest distance, the longest year, the longest orbital period, the fastest speed, the lowest or highest temperature, the highest or the lowest pressure on the surface, the highest or the lowest number of moons, yes, no questions, ring system or magnetic field, and we can also ask about the composition. So I will start. So I'm going to ask anybody who wants to answer this. Which is the densest planet? Which is the planet with the highest density?
Is it the Earth?
How do you know?
Is it the Earth?
Oh, yes.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm just looking at the table because the Earth has 5,514 kilograms. I don't know how to read it actually. I'm just looking at the number.
Okay, no. This is good. This is good. Okay, no, because this is also if you remember back. Well, I'm not sure whether you were there, Gloria, right at the beginning, but let me just pull up this. This is practice in reading the numbers again, isn't it? Or the units. So if we have something like this is kilograms per meter.
Meters, all right.
Cubed. Okay, per meter cubed. This is the meters cubed, and this is this is the per. It's the minus is the per. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So Gloria, can you make up a question
Yeah.
for someone else?
Which is the planet with the shortest day length? The planet whose day.
Sorry, would you mind to repeat? I don't understand the question.
Which is the planet with the shortest day length? Whose day is the shortest?
Venus.
Okay.
No, Mercury.
Shortest day length?
I saw Jupiter.
It's Jupiter with the 10 hours.
Yeah, it's Jupiter. It's Jupiter, isn't it? There it is.
Ah, Jupiter.
Yeah, 10 hours. Yeah.
Sometimes we would need Venus day length. Sometimes.
2,800 hours.
Yeah, you know, when we got consigli di classe, all that stuff, we would need it.
Yeah. That's almost certainly true. Almost certainly true. Yeah, how what a difference a day makes. Well, it does depend on how long your day is, doesn't it? Okay. Who said Jupiter? Because I'm just looking for the next victim.
We know.
Okay, Rosella. Yeah, okay, you'll do.
Okay. Okay, which are the more fast?
The fastest.
The
or
fastest.
The faster.
The faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, the faster.
Planets.
Yes.
Okay. So what you could say is, which are the faster planets? That's very general. Faster planets. Okay. You could say which are the two fastest planets. I don't know how many planets do you want?
Okay.
Quanti voi?
Okay. Two.
Two. Okay.
I agree. Two.
Okay. This will do then. Which are the two fastest planets?
Mercury.
Okay.
Then Venus.
Okay. Right. Okay. So how fast? Okay. No, Rosella, you carry on. How fast?
How fast they are?
How fast are they?
Are they? Sorry.
No.
Mercury, 47 kilometers per second.
Yes, well done. 47. Yeah, no, 47 kilometers per second. Fine. Okay. Good.
And Venus, 35 kilometers per second.
Yeah. Okay. So Venus is 37 or 35 kilometers per second.
35. Sorry.
Yeah. No. It's okay. 35. That's okay.
35. Yes.
Yeah. That's what I heard. But there again, my hearing is not fantastic. So, okay. Good. So can you make a question now? Yes. Vai. Anna, go.
Which is the una parola. Which is the most far planets?
Okay, so this is the farthest
from Sun.
Okay, farthest planet from Oh, yeah.
From sun.
From the sun.
From the sun.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to write in Corsivo. It's that time of the day. So I apologize. Which is the farthest planet from the sun? Evo. Microphone. Microphone. We can't hear you, Evo.
Pluto.
Pluto. Good. Yes. Do you want to, Anna? Do you want to ask ask Evo another question about Pluto?
And what about the gravity of Pluto?
So how strong?
How strong?
Is
okay.
No, it's okay because this we didn't. It's Pluto's gravity.
Okay.
I can't see.
There it is. It's 1, 2, 3. It's this one. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 4th row down. Okay. Can you see it, Evo?
I can't see the screen now.
Is it too small?
The technical problem.
Okay. Ai. That sounds like an excuse. Sembra una scusa.
No.
I'm playing. Don't worry. Can you see it now?
No.
No? Okay. Antonio.
Okay, how strong is Pluto's gravity? It's 0.7 meter per second square.
Good. Okay. Right. So remember that this is going to be squared. Okay. Because it's a 2. And we have the minus, which is a per. Okay. Good. Okay. Antonio, can you make up a question?
Which is the hottest planet? It's very interesting.
Good question. Anybody?
It's Venus.
So Venus is the now. Okay, so Antonio, you said this is an interesting observation.
Yes, because Venus has a greenhouse effect.
Yeah. So if we look at this row of numbers here, the mean temperature, you could plot a graph, I think, and it's clear that the mean temperature, the average temperature, decreases as you go further from the sun, of course. But there's one number. What would you expect Venus to be, maybe? Roughly. You would expect it to be between 170 and 15, so maybe 100, yeah, something like that, or maybe 80, I don't know. But 464, that's a little bit.
3 times higher.
It's at least 3 times higher than what you would expect, if not more. Okay, and this is the greenhouse. This is the greenhouse effect. Okay. Right. Okay. So, what's the thing here? You can use this for a lot of, let's say, practice, making questions, and also revising this. How do you say this number, for example? How would you say that? This is.
Okay, it's 10 to 24
Yeah, so this is the 10 to the 24. So you'd say the mass of Mercury is 0.33 times 10 to the 24 kilos. That's a lot of kilos. Okay, and since we were talking about gravity, Pluto is 0.0146 times 10 to the 24 kilos. So obviously Mercury has a higher gravitational field than Pluto. There's basically more mass there. Okay, right. So this is, let's say, planetary data, but we can also think about atmospheres. Now, Sal, at the beginning, I think if he's still there, was asking about, he asked about atmosphere. And I said, well, look, it's basically a generic word for the gas around a planet. Here, the atmosphere, let's say the rough compositions of the planetary atmospheres are collected in this table. What do you notice? What do you notice? Something that's very, it's quite, seems to be quite strange, actually. Something that sort of strikes you immediately when you look at this table.
Oxygen only on Earth.
Yeah, there's only oxygen. There's only oxygen on the Earth, in the Earth's atmosphere, and we can say just as well. Okay. Another thing which you will notice is that there is there's a lot of hydrogen around. There's a lot of hydrogen and a certain amount of helium as well. So this is something to do with the theory that Jupiter and possibly Saturn were failed stars. Jupiter in particular, it was thought that it was not quite big enough to become a star, because when you have enough mass in a gas, the thing it compresses so much that you actually start to get thermonuclear reactions, and that's where you get nucleosynthesis, and that's when basically you've got hydrogen bombs going off and enough energy that you're making helium and then lithium, and you get the whole progression. Okay. So it's thought that Jupiter was almost a star, but not quite, which would have been quite different. The solar system would have been very different if Jupiter had become a star. We probably wouldn't be here. Okay, so this is quite quite useful for us. Okay. We've just got a couple of minutes left for today. Has anybody got any questions about things that we've talked about today? Was it interesting? Was it useful?
Yeah, interesting.
Yes.
Useful. Novelties. News that I didn't know. Very good.
Okay. Any comments? Any questions?
Thank you.
Well, no, it's when I was a kid, astronomy was my hobby. Then at some point things changed and I became a chemist, which is a little bit different, but it sort of comes back, because when you talk about planetary composition, you talk about the elements. When you talk about stars, you talk about nucleosynthesis and how the elements are formed. And I find it really is quite, all of this stuff is really quite fascinating. And of course, we live in a in times. Okay, the times are difficult for human reasons, but also fascinating because, as I said, with the New Horizons probe just a couple of years ago, we waited 20 years, 15 years to get the results of 2 days of flyby, and it was just amazing, like seeing the first pictures from Voyager, or back in the 70s, Viking, when it landed on Mars, or back in the early 70s, the moon landings. Okay, it's always interesting stuff. Anyway, okay, that's enough of me waffling on. Thank you again for your kind patronage, your kind attention. I do hope that you give good feedback to Stefano and tell him that this is a useful thing. Okay, and I hope to see you again next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Okay.
Bye.
Right. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Now, what do I have to do? Okay. It's going. Now, what do I need to